Hey comic fans! Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the world of superheroes, rare collectibles, and all things geek culture. Today we're suiting up to uncover the top 10 most valuable Batman comics of all time. Whether you're a lifelong collector or just curious about what makes the Dark Knight's comics so iconic and expensive, you're in for a treat. From groundbreaking first appearances to legendary storylines, these comics are not just pieces of history, but holy grails in the world of collecting. So grab your utility belt and let's dive into the Bat Cave of comic book treasures. You might be surprised by what's at number 1. Number 10. If we're talking about Batman's most complicated relationships, both the Joker and Catwoman come to mind. After all, these three go all the way back to 1940. The pricey Batman number 2 features the Joker's second appearance, as well as Catwoman in one. Maybe if Batman didn't leave the Joker behind for dead in this issue, things could have turned around for the clown. But the hero was a little distracted by the already obvious flirtatious connection he had with the cat. A graded issue where Batman officially dubs the famous thief Catwoman has been valued at an average of $18,000. If either of Batman's foes knew its worth, they might stop fighting him and try to steal this comic. Number 9. Before there was the Joker, there was Doctor Strange. No, not that Doctor Strange. Detective Comics number 36 features the first appearance and origin of Dr. Hugo Strange. This criminally sharp scientist who has managed to figure out Batman's identity has become a recurring DC villain. A good condition issue where this twisted Dr. Premiers goes for an average price of just above $29,000. And this is without anyone seeing Strange appear as a main villain in mainstream Hollywood movies for decades. Maybe the villain's appearances in animated content, video games, and TV shows have made this comic so attractive online. However, could the real draw of the issue be the first appearance of Batman's glove fins? Strange would probably disagree. 8. Detective Comics number 140 from 1948. Riddle me this. Are there any Bat rogues more puzzling than Edward Nygma, aka the Riddler? Instead of relying on brawn, this villain's brain proved to be a more unique threat for Batman. The questionable villain challenged Bruce Wayne's intellect by having him solve complicated puzzles that left the Gotham police force stumped. Seeing the Batman triumph over the Riddler helped establish the hero as one of the most intelligent DC superheroes of all time. The questionable rogue has been portrayed in everything from the 1960s Batman TV series to 2022's The Batman. His recent role has likely helped keep demand high for his first appearance, with graded editions of this comic potentially fetching around $40,000. It's safe to say this villain's still unquestionably popular. 7. Detective Comics number 35 from 1939. While this early Detective Comics issue may not hold any notable first appearances, it's one expensive Bat book. The highest reported price this issue has been valued at is around $119,000. But why would Bruce Wayne need to pull out his checkbook for this comic? Well, its classic Bob Kane cover notably marked the first time DC started producing consecutive Batman covers. Up until this issue, DC was still testing the character out. They only featured the caped Crusader on the cover of every other issue. However, it was here when DC decided to go all in on Batman. This comic marks a key tide-changing moment for the publishing giant, where they aimed a spotlight firmly on the Dark Knight. Number 6. Detective Comics number 28 from 1939. For anyone who can't afford the hefty price tag of Batman's debut comic, his second appearance in this issue should be much more affordable. You might want to set your budget in the six-figure range for a high-grade copy. Fittingly, this issue sees Batman trying to stop jewel thieves. As part of his complex plan, he leads the GCPD to believe he's a crook. Parallels to this twisty plot have played out in numerous Bat stories over the years. Outside of its relevance to the mythos, this important comic's place in history makes it worth investing in. While it may feel like a consolation prize to hardcore collectors, we'll never get tired of seeing Batman deliver a thief to the GCPD with a note in this story. 5. Detective Comics number 38, from 1940. The arguably most famous comic duo consists of Batman and his crime-fighting partner, Robin. Their pop culture popularity means it isn't surprising that Dick Grayson's first appearance takes place in one of Batman's most valuable comic books. A graded version of this historic issue goes for an average of $78,000. Honesty, we think Robin deserves to fetch that price for his significance. His presence paved the way for Bruce Wayne to have a much larger Bat family today. Popular DC franchises like Teen Titans also directly sprung from the early seeds planted with this first appearance. Despite a tragic origin, Robin was incredibly relatable. He allowed kids to imagine themselves fighting alongside our favorite bat-dressed vigilante. 4. Detective Comics number 29 from 1939. First appearances tend to outshine lesser key issues. But this entry proves having multiple notable points can yield significantly high prices. This issue features the third appearance of Batman in comics, his second cover appearance, and grand debut of his classic utility belt. It also has the Dark Knight's first major supervillain, Dr. Death. Although this antagonist isn't that popular outside of the page, the value of the comic he initially showed up in is more known. This issue has been known to fetch a high six-figure market value. We'd like to think the utility belt is a strong contributing factor to the value. Over time, it's become one of the coolest accessories in comics ever because it holds so many Batman gadgets. 3. Detective Comics number 31, from 1939. While on patrol in New York instead of Gotham, Batman crosses paths with a costumed villain known as the Monk. The underused villain shares his first appearance with Bruce Wayne's girlfriend, Julie Madison. You might remember her brief appearance in the ill-fated Batman and Robin film. As great as she and the villain are, the issue has a few other tremendous things going for it. It's got the debut of a flying vehicle known as the Batgyro, and the first appearance of Batman's go-to weapon of choice, the Batarang. And its arguably most important aspect is the often homaged Batman Over Castle cover by Bob Kane. Known for having a graded comic that fetched around $175,000, this issue is definitely one for the rich. Number 2. Batman number 1 from 1940. The Joker is undeniably one of comics' greatest villains. His sadistic actions and unpredictable behavior have made him a fascinating character who had several award-winning portrayals. But long before his name was tied to Oscar Gold and high box office returns, he debuted in Batman number 1. If that wasn't enough to drive up the value of this issue, we also get Catwoman's first ever appearance here. Her incredible drive and romantic tension with Batman made her a character that many performers have successfully sunk their acting claws into. In 2021, an issue of this story sold for over $2 million. We think Catwoman and Batman could afford to go on a pretty nice vacation away from the Joker if they sold one, a Batman number 1. Detective Comics number 27 from 1939. Not only have graded versions of this historic comic fetched million-dollar price tags, but this notable story features the first appearance of the Batman. While we also get Commissioner Gordon's debut, we're fairly sure its value has everything to do with Batman. The world's greatest detective is an icon that will forever stand at the top of fan-favorite superheroes. Since he doesn't have powers, we could all see ourselves becoming the Caped Crusader. We'd just need massive wealth, fighting experience, and tons of fancy gadgetry. But those tiny logistical details haven't stopped generations of fans from dreaming of putting on a costume and fighting crime. Batman's deep connection to so many made his debut issue one of the most valuable comic books of all time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and let me know in the comments which Batman comic is your favorite, or which one you dream of owning someday. And hey, if you're new here, Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our deep dives into the world of comics, collectibles, and more. Thanks for watching, stay legendary, and I'll see you in the next video. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye!